right, it is Wednesday, August 26th, 6:30. We are live with This Fan's View. We have Carl, John, Lauren, Anthony, and myself. What are we doing, John? We got finish up 26 and move on to 27.
27, yeah. Now we obviously have to edit this a little bit.
What?
Thought I did this earlier this morning, but I didn't do that one. Number 27 we're doing. So
all day.
Watching hockey.
Watching hockey.
He was helping me at the store today.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. So
Let the truth be told.
yeah. Let the secret out of the bag.
Either way, it's productive.
Yes, exactly.
It was a productive day.
Yes, it was.
There you go.
Yep, we got a lot of things organized. But we had another terrific week this week. We had another record-breaking week this week with number 26. That Chase Utley went over the 1,000 vote mark, which I don't even know how many that he actually totally has because it only says 1K, so it's less than 1,100. But he ran away with it. Sorry, Flyers fans.
Wow.
Chase Utley is the man. And then this week we got another good week, and I think the Flyers fans will be more excited this week because we have a good chance for the Flyers to pull this one out. We have for the Phillies that Aaron Nola, the starting pitcher tonight.
You make it sound like they suck all the time.
Who's that? Who stinks?
Who?
Not the Flyers.
Hey,
Got a
look at
couple
that.
extra
Hello from Clearwater, Florida.
There we go.
Got a couple
Look at
extra
that.
gray hairs today because of the Flyers, but
I've got a lot of gray hairs today.
But Aaron Nola, the 2018 All-Star, third place runner-up in the Cy Young vote in 18, first-round pick for us in 2015. We have for the Eagles that Malcolm Jenkins, the Super Bowl champion, a three-time Pro Bowler, 17 interceptions and 10 defensive touchdowns. Then we have our other fan favorite, Ron Hextall for the Flyers, the 87 Vezina Trophy winner, the 87 Conn Smythe winner, the Rookie of the Year in 87. And he's got many Flyers records, 240 wins, 45 playoff wins, the most points by a goalie, and most penalty minutes by a goalie as well. And his number was retired. I'm sorry, in the Flyers Hall of Fame. Then we have for the 76ers, everybody's favorite player, that Larry Drew. If you don't remember, I don't even know if his mother knows he played for the Sixers, to be honest with you. But he played 12 games, scored 50 points from the University of North Carolina. That's about all I got for him. For the outsider, we have that Mike Trout, the hometown favorite, the 8-time All-Star, first team All MLB, 3-time AL MVP, 7-time Silver Slugger, member of the 30-30 Club, and he hit for the cycle back in 2013. So we have a nice little matchup here going.
Yeah.
So, Mario, who do you have?
So I was kind of torn between Hextall and Trout, but
Not Larry Drew?
well, I think he's above and beyond. So I got to stay with Philly, so I'm going with Bexy.
There you go. Nice choice. Lauren, who do you have?
I'm going to go with Malcolm Jenkins.
Kind of figured. Anthony, who do you have?
Probably do the same. I was thinking Aaron Nola, but I guess I remember 27 just, with his time with us and how well he's doing. But, if he had won a World Series or something, yeah, I might go there, but I'm going to go with Jenkins.
There you go. Can't go wrong there. Carl?
Ron Hextall. And you're being challenged. Did you say that he was Rookie of the Year? Because Jack Broder's throwing the challenge flag.
The NHL All-Rookie team, I guess then. He was all rookie.
Okay. All right, because Jack will set you straight.
Oh, I'm sure he will. And he's a little bit mad from last week's results. I know. Sorry about that, Jack. It's not my fault. I didn't vote all 1,000 times.
You did
You can
vote.
explain.
Oh.
I did vote, but not 1,000 plus times.
I mean,
So.
Jack's not going to like this, but there's no reason for Chase to not win. So
Right.
Right.
the correct person won.
Oh, of course.
All right, Jack.
Well, our viewers always do get it right. It's
Yeah.
just what That's the one thing we can say about our viewers. So, and I am going to go also with.
We got to have him back on the show.
Jack has become the official mayor of the show. So now he can't
and-
say anything.
There you go. Yep, it's one way to get them. I'm going with Ron Hextall. Myself, growing up, he was the guy at that time of the year. For the Flyers, the goalie. He was everything. Mr. Excitement, and plus if I don't, you're going to throw me under the bus when we go see him at the at the sign, and they'll kick my butt. So. Anthony and Lauren weren't there, so they aren't going to be there, so they don't have to worry about it.
I would have told him to win a Stanley Cup, and then I would have voted for him.
Right, because Jenkins got the Super Bowl.
Right.
So I'll tell him that, and I'll just say Lauren said it.
That's fine. That's fine. I'll ask him how Carter Hart's doing.
There you go. We're 5 minutes into the show, and you're stirring the pot already.
I didn't stir the pot. Maybe he's right. Carter hasn't looked so great the last 2 games, so maybe he's onto something. I don't know.
Maybe.
Let's just say, since we're going to talk Flyers hockey, that I'm not quite ready to throw Carter Hart under any bus.
No.
And
I'm not throwing him under the bus at all.
he has certainly gotten them to where they're at. And maybe they should play a little better in front of them. Maybe clear some pucks.
Yeah,
Anthony's
especially that last
Flyers.
goal tonight.
Come on, Anthony, chime in.
Well, when they're out shooting you 2-1, and you don't lose by that much, other than the first game, but I think he's doing a phenomenal job.
Oh, he is.
I think a lesser goalie would not have done half as well as he's done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the first period in the Monday night's game would have been 3 or 4-0 if it wasn't for him.
Right.
It was just he kept them in that game. And even tonight's the third goal today was kind of a lucky bounce for them, and it bounced right to the middle of the goal there, and he's 1-on-1 there by himself with and I picked the corner from him.
But they always have problems with the Islanders.
Well, Jack said it earlier. It was going to be a tough game.
Yep.
Tough matchup.
Like we were talking about before the show, it's probably going to go 6 or 7.
Oh yeah,
It's going to have to. Because
I don't have to.
Well, I don't think either team's going to give up that easy.
No,
So
not at all. Not at all. That's for sure.
No, I think he's played well. I mean, another young player stepped up. Philip Myers. I mean, he's pretty much taken Shane Gostisbehere off the ice. He may never see a Flyers uniform again. Myers is playing extremely well. He's big, he's physical, he's young, and they play much better with him in the lineup. So, it's going to be interesting. Good to get the series tied at 1. I did not like them giving up a 3-goal lead today. They battled, but the Islanders are a very, very good team. They're well coached. They don't sit back, as you can see today. They came back, they chipped away, they got it tied, but the better team prevailed today. So, kudos to the Flyers. We got a game tomorrow night at 7:00.
Yep. I mean, they're mirror images of each other.
Anthony, what are you doing tomorrow night at 7:00?
Working. We at the
Oh,
stadium.
that's right. You're at the stadium, but the Flyers game will be on the big screen, right?
No. We have a what is it? It's like a movie premiere. I watched the first game. I watched the whole thing.
You watched overtime when we came home from
Yeah,
work.
I watched it.
So then you were the reason we lost on Monday?
Well, that wouldn't really count because he watched overtime, and that's when they won. So,
Mm-hmm. So I'm very lucky. I'm lucky.
Yes. Well, that doesn't really work because they didn't win Monday. So.
It balances out right at the moment.
The Penguins, because I know you're a big Penguins fan. They don't waste time. They're already redoing their lineup for next year. They got what's the kid's name from Toronto? Kapanen, Sammy Kapanen's kid.
Okay.
Nice player, real nice player.
Well,
They don't waste time.
They have to do something after that disaster. I mean, you gotta try to get a little bit younger, try to move some of these guys around, do something. I'm not going to complain. I mean, they've been doing good for a while, so if it takes a year or two to kind of get your things back together, I don't mind that at all. But it's been good. I mean, I've liked watching the playoffs this year and some of those later games too. Some of those West Coast games when you can actually stay up and watch them. Watch a little of the Vancouver series and that. So it's been good.
Mm-hmm.
So
Good hockey right now.
when does the next season start? They're not starting until what, January? Or didn't they decide that yet?
I don't know that they've set a
Okay.
timeline yet.
All right.
Yeah.
There was
Yeah.
talks about being in January, but then also I thought I heard something about in December at some point. But yeah, I thought they were talking at New Year's.
Well, next year's going to be interesting because each city has different restrictions on events going into the
Right.
year. So if you can't have an event in Philadelphia to March, do they really want to have games in January and February? I mean, I'm
Right.
sure you could, but you'd rather have people there. So
Right.
I don't know how long you can wait and see, but they're probably going to try to do it as long as they can. I don't know if there's anyone with season tickets that has any knowledge here of that, or if anyone has heard anything about that. But yeah, I just figured if you can't have a parade or can't have anything till March, I don't know how you could have a hockey game.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what they were saying. Not until the end of February before they can have fans in stands. So that's for basketball and hockey. Will be affected by that. So
Yeah,
the
exactly.
mayor, the mayor
he's
is saying that
you could have a bubble, but at some point, I guess, I don't know, theoretically,
Well,
you'd want to bring it back to your home ice when you can. So maybe they'll start that way and see how it works out.
that would be my thought. Start like they're doing it now. And then when everything else opens up, then you can move back to your own town.
yeah, I mean it could, but the only problem is you're going to have more teams though, because you have the teams that weren't
Right.
in the playoffs. So you're going to have maybe just a little bit harder time to get playing time for all the teams. But yeah, I'm sure they'll figure it out. It seems like they have it under control right now as far as the virus and stuff. So yeah, should be a easy enough fix. Until they get fans. But the mayor also said that may change though too. Would things would be taken under advisement as
It makes sense. I think everything's subject to change at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean it doesn't mean that it couldn't be longer too.
Right.
It could be not until April or whatever for fans, but if they see things coming around, then should hopefully have fans when the season starts next year.
So we were talking pre-show who should be in goal tomorrow night for the Flyers. So let's throw that out there to our people that are on board with us tonight and see what they think. Whether it should be Carter Hart, or do you go with Elliott?
Elliott.
Since back to back, and where do you think they need to be? So let's throw that out and see what kind of response we get from our listeners. Curious to see. Lauren doesn't think Carter's playing too well. So, Lauren, do you start Elliott tomorrow night?
No. I think you go with Hart, but you know that he is on somewhat of a short leash, so to speak, only because of his performance the last time they had an afternoon game followed by an evening game.
Right.
And he seems to be having a tougher time with this team. I understand the guys in front of him should play better. They should score more goals. I get all that. But to also kind of keep us grounded, I'm wondering if we would give as much praise if this was anybody else other than Carter Hart. But we've been programmed and told that he's the next coming of Christ. So we kind of paved the way that he is the best, and we're not going to challenge that. But would we be speaking as highly if this was Brian Elliott or anyone else for that matter? I do, at the end of the day, the puck gets past him. I realize it gets past other people as well, but I think this series is starting to show Carter, welcome to the playoffs. And so I think you start him tomorrow night, but you just keep an eye on him.
Makes sense. I mean, again, like you said, probably if it was Elliott. Go ahead, Carl.
I get the whole thing. You're sticking with with your the kid, and I don't know about him being Christ. He's a good young goaltender. He's accomplished a lot, but the NHL's the big picture. It's the big,
right.
It's the big show. So let me ask you this: he gives up 3 quick goals like the Islanders did tonight. Is Alain Vigneault gonna yank him as quick as Trotz pulled his goalie? I mean, is that something that you're talking about a young kid? You're going to ruin his confidence, or you're going to are going to be quick to hook him at that point?
Well, I think he's already shown that. It wasn't it the 5-0, or he gave up the 4th goal, which was
right.
offsides, and they were going to pull him then. So I mean, he showed that he would take him out, to give him the break. But I don't know if we go with like you were saying, though, Lauren, if it was Elliott was our starting goalie and Hart was our backup, people probably would be asking for Carter Hart just to play.
They wouldn't be as kind. They wouldn't
Right.
be. And, I'm sure I'm the minority in that, and that's fine. I get it. I understand it. But I've been around Philadelphia sports for a really long time.
Yeah.
And we would have hung Brian Elliott in the town square if he had given up 4 goals, 3, let him back into it tonight. I think we give him. And I get it. He's young and he's proven a lot and he's great. And I get it. And I truly think that he is the future of the Flyers organization. I'm just saying this is kind of his first taste of it. And I think this team's really given him a run for his money. That's all I'm saying.
I'd let him start the next game. And then if he gives up, God forbid he gives up 3 goals at once, then you pull him and you might not start him for the next one. And yeah, that might hurt his confidence, but he should have confidence because you let him play this one. So you got to put him in situations where he has a chance to prove himself. 2 goals, no. 3 goals, yeah, because you got to start winning games. But, if you give it up 7 goals so far, that's a lot of goals. So let him start and pull him as needed.
I'm of the mindset where you let him rest for 2 days and start him on Saturday. Give Elliott the start tomorrow. That's my thought.
It's a tough call. You know what I mean? You're riding a hot hand. You got the series back 1-1. Harder hasn't done anything to lose the job.
Right.
So,
true.
he's played. He's kept them in. Even today, that score could have very easily been, 6-3. The Isles just, they smelled blood there in the, once they tied that game, once they tied that score. So the kids, everything that he's supposed to be. I just, I just don't, the whole back-to-back thing. It is the NHL, and Lauren, we would definitely, we're the best hangers in the world here in Philadelphia. So,
Well, it's only going to get harder. So, he's got to get through this if you want to win with them. So, let him play and see what happens.
So,
Exactly.
So Carter Hart aside for a second, let's say the Flyers win. They advance to the next round. Are they Stanley Cup champions at that point? Is this the hardest competition they've got across the board?
this series,
Yeah.
no, because you got the Bruins and the Lightning.
Lightning.
They're
Right.
they're just, they're licking their chops. You know what I mean? Everybody wants a piece of the Flyers. The Flyers were the number one seed. They were the hottest team. They were getting all the, that's all the NHL channel was talking about. The talk was Carter Hart, Carter Hart, Carter Hart. So, it's just not Philadelphia. It's the whole national media as well.
Right.
And Carter Hart has won at every level that he's been at. So, the Flyers, you got to take this one game at a time.
So-
one game at
So
a
it's
time.
only going to get harder.
Correct.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
So, part of it is let's keep an eye on it, keep an eye on the situation, let him play, let him gain his confidence, let him figure out his mistakes and what he could do better, because it's only going to get harder from here.
Right. Well, yeah, but it's also learning experience too. Even if this isn't the year for the Stanley Cup,
Sure.
let them go through those. Today. Well, no, today was a big test. The overtime game. It ended up going to overtime, and he had to hold off on at the end there with that 2-minute penalty at the end of the game. That was big as well because the momentum was all on the Islanders at that point. And he made a couple of big saves there before the end of the game, and then also now he got a little bit of playoff overtime experience. So that's all feathers in his cap for going forward here. You got that's why he's got to play just to get that experience, good or bad. I don't think he's fragile like Embiid or Simmons, but
Nice segue. I saw what you did there. I saw what you did there.
It's I don't think he's one you have to worry about. He gave up the 5. What was it? The 5 goals in the first series, and and then came back and had 2 shutouts after that. It was impressive. So this whole year, whatever we get from this year, I think is a bonus from the Flyers. I don't know that anybody really thought that they were a Stanley Cup champion, coming into the season. So now that we are in that position that we could be a Cup finalist, that's a big cap in his feather to with that experience. So, yeah.
I just think the whole nucleus of coaching. Coaching is so important. Just look at it. You know what I mean? The head coach surrounds himself with 2 former head coaches who are very schooled at putting a team together in the NHL, and I just think we've got guys that and even today we're still looking for Giroux to get going. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's kind of like been the hidden man. He's winning some faceoffs for us, and he's doing some of the dirty work. But what's he paid for? He's paid to score goals.
Right.
And it's the playoffs. That's when you need him the most. He's the captain. That's why he's the captain. You know, the numbers are great, but it's the playoffs. And, you know, he's a veteran player, and the time is now. You know, they're ready. They're ready to you know, if they can get past this series, man, that's going to be so awesome. You know, and these kids this is a life lesson for a lot of these kids, you know, who have never played, you know, in the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So, you know, it's exciting. It's exciting for the Philadelphia Flyers and the fan base. I'm just glad that, you know, we got a winning team to talk about.
And Ryan, the cap and a feather means, you know, he had experience.
Yeah, but
He's taking shots.
you reversed it.
What did I do?
Feather in his cap, not the other way around.
Oh, cap and a feather. Whatever. It's all the same. What are you gonna do?
Why do you guys think there's so much pressure this year? I feel like all the other years, whenever they've been contenders, or any team, really, any Philadelphia team has been a contender. Oh, well, you know, we'll see what happens. But it feels like this year, and Justin said it a little while ago, if you don't win the cup this year, you failed.
Probably because
Why?
most of the other teams have not done well. And
Most of the other Philadelphia teams?
yeah, most of the other Philadelphia teams have not done very well. And Carter Hart has all this hype behind him. So the two of those things together.
But he's 22 years old.
Well, everyone wants to win right now. Right now.
I
No one
understand
wants
they
to
want
win.
to win right now, but
Well, I'm telling you the reason why. I'm not saying it's right. That's the reason why.
Well, if you think about it, before COVID hit, and they were going strong. They were on a roll, and that's where they were headed. And then everything kind of broke down.
Roll right back up without
Yeah, no
any
doubt.
issue.
No doubt.
Yeah,
I
I disagree.
That's been so they have to win, otherwise, don't even talk to me about it.
Yeah, I disagree with Justin on that, but you know, this was a pretty good season right now. You know, because
It still is.
Right.
It's the series is 1-1. You know what I mean? You're fighting, you know, for your playoff life. You
Right.
know, whether you got a feather in your cap or a cap in your feather. You know what I mean? It's all good. It's all good. Ryan's just trying to even the score. That's all, because I busted his chop week pretty good. So he's just trying to get back on the show.
And he said he was going to be nice today.
I know he did. I saw that comment. He opened it up. So
yeah.
yeah.
I don't know how perfectly
As he sits out there smoking a cigar, listening to Sinatra, you know, the whole bit. Yeah, la-di-da-di-da.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know how the playoff schedule lined up perfectly for the Flyers. I mean, you know, the Islanders, you know, were hot coming in. Also, you know, beating the Capitals. So, I mean, I don't know.
How about them Capitals? How about it?
Yeah.
They
Mm-hmm.
got blasted. They fired their coach. Huh? How about it,
Yeah.
Capital fans?
Oh yeah.
Somehow I don't think we have any Capital fans watching us.
Nah.
No. There's
I
no
doubt
Capital
it.
fans. There's no Capital fans even when there was Capitals playing. They only jump on when they win the Stanley Cup.
And then the coach doesn't re-sign with them, as in Trotz, and he goes to the Islanders, right?
Yeah. What does that tell you?
We haven't had this much hockey talk in 2 years.
Yeah.
Well, you can
Lauren,
thank
are you ready?
Carter Hart for that.
Are you ready to shift gears?
Whenever
I
you're
told
ready.
you to save some for Wednesday. I
I
told
know.
you to save some for Wednesday.
I know, but this isn't really
Is
a
that why you've been-
basketball crowd. This isn't a Sixers crowd. This isn't a Sixers city.
Yeah,
You know,
But they love hearing you go off. So that's
I
what they-
understand that, but you know, I don't have to do that every
that's
time.
what- yeah, but
Now's the time.
What?
Yeah.
What is there to
Yeah.
go off about? Well, I mean,
it's
if
your boy. It's your boy.
Yeah. Mr. Softy, you're finally coming around to our side.
No, I'm not finally coming around to your side. I think Embiid and Simmons are pieces that they need to build upon and build around. I think both of them need a reality check because neither one of them can play on the court with each other because their egos don't fit. So I think both of them need to understand that if this team is going to go anywhere and if they're going to get anywhere close to winning a championship, they both have to check their egos at the door and play for the name on the front, not the name on the back. But I think the team can be built around the two of them if they can get their shit together. If they can't, if Joel Embiid's always going to be this crybaby, makes a couple great plays and thinks he's Christ Almighty, and Ben Simmons is going to take us to the promised land and then get hurt,
that's not his fault.
then trade him away.
That's not his fault.
Then trade him away. Well, I understand getting hurt isn't his fault, but he's never brought 110% every night. The man just figured out how to shoot a foul shot, for Christ's sake.
It's either they're not as good as people thought they were, or they're just too soft, one or the other. You can't bring energy all that time and then get to the playoffs and then just give up. And I don't want to hear that it's because Ben Simmons wasn't there. Then you shouldn't have given Tobias Harris that much money. Then you should have had a better bench. Then you should have done something else. But you cannot lose in the first round to the Boston Celtics and expect.
You can, but you can't go 4 out.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think you could lose in the first round with them. People had way bigger expectations of them. And Elton Brand, I don't know necessarily should have a job anymore, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Elton Brand's the next one. I think he's already going to be replaced. He's just going to be overseeing things, and there's going to be other people coming in.
Well, and I mean,
making the decisions.
Touched on, energy and how, they had all this energy. I don't think they did. They made their way.
Not in the playoffs. I mean,
not even in the few games leading up to the playoffs. They went to Disney World and they forgot the energy at home.
But I was watching some of those games, and Brett Brown is screaming at, especially obviously the last game, very much so. But he was screaming at the top of his lungs for them to play defense. And I mean, they're grown men; they're not playing defense. So I get that he can be a good coach and tell them that. But at some point, you have to do it on your own. Maybe they're just not that good of a team.
They're not.
Well, it's that, but they also tuned him out. You can hear from all their comments that they don't have any discipline on the team, no respect. They need more accountability.
That's their fault. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. That's their fault.
Yeah,
if they don't respect the man because he's the coach, then don't respect him, but don't throw him under the bus when he leaves. It's certainly easy to fault the person who's got to take the fall for you not being able to play.
Oh yeah, no, of course.
That's real easy.
A little narcissistic, but yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but these other guys that they're talking about, I mean, who are those guys that, of the list they've showed you, and let's not talk about Jay Wright because I know everyone wants him, but why would you do that if you're him? Yeah. Who are those guys? Tyronn Lue impresses you that much that he's going to change the current team around? No, you got to change the people that make the moves,
right?
The players that you get. Brett Brown, I think, did the best that he could with the players that he had. Yes, he should have went a little further this year, but what do you want him to do?
There was something that I saw on Twitter that I couldn't have agreed with more. Brett Brown did more for the Sixers than the Sixers did for Brett Brown. And I truly believe that. That man was dealt shitty hands year after year and did what he could. Was he perfect? No, absolutely not. But you cannot place all this blame on one man and think, oh, well, we fired the coach, so we're good to go now. Well, that's not the case at all.
The other problem is if say you go out, I don't know which coaches other than the ones they talked about are available, but you can't go out and drop, millions and millions and millions of dollars on a coach because you'll be in the same problem you are right now, where you wasted money on guys. The coach can't win the game. He can't make the final shot. Sometimes the best coaches are guys that you find or, I just don't think you can go out and pay a Phil Jackson type of, I'm not saying him, but all this type of money, you're not going to win with the players that you have right now. That's what it seems like.
Well, especially the way the coaching down the stretch is a little tough. Whether you have some talent as well, but drawing up the plays to get those points. Shake Milton, obviously, that was a disaster going of an experiment moving him to the point guard.
But that's their whole roster. their whole roster is built on guys who played well once.
Yep.
Mike Scott, Shake Milton, they're all guys who made a lucky shot at a time we needed it, and then all of a sudden, well, let's throw them in the lineup because they got to be the best thing ever, and then they're not, and then we somehow get mad at that. Mike Scott had one good game in the playoffs, and that was it. And where's he been? What happened?
And there's also not a leader of the team itself.
I just, the whole they gotta do. This can't be it. Brett Brown can't be the only thing. He can't be the only scapegoat. He can't be the only one who takes the blame for the last 7 years, because that's not fair.
No, I do agree with that, but do you think a different coach would have been able to get them to play more like a team other than 5 separate guys on the field, on the court?
I don't know. I mean, sure, yeah, maybe.
I think one of those guys on their own should have wanted to step up. When you see Simmons come out, which by the way, I don't know if he was the leader or not. You couldn't tell that.
Did they have one?
It doesn't. Well, that's the problem. It doesn't seem like there is. So, if you're going to spend all this money on a Tobias Harris, or it should be Joel Embiid. But I think sometimes, I don't want to say he's not as good as people think, but he started playing way later than a lot of other guys. I just don't know if he has it in him, or there's something not there. And maybe another coach would help out. I'm not saying you got to get rid of him today, but at some point you want to, if he's not going to be that guy, you want to get rid of him so you can get some guys in for him, if that is the case.
He's soft. That's what it is.
And that's the question. Can another coach teach him not to be soft, or is that just personality where he's soft?
Yeah, he's good enough that he can get you 30 and 10 on a bad day, and people are going to complain about that he had a bad day. But he could have 50 points in game. It's just he wants to be great.
He reminds me of not obviously as good. It's not a great comparison, but growing up in New York, you have Alex Rodriguez, and for years and years and years he did great, and then he got to the playoffs and he didn't do anything. And that seems like maybe Joel Embiid is. I don't know if it's the pressure, or if he's just too soft, or if it's a combination of all that stuff. But he has to be the leader on that team, and it doesn't feel like he is.
He's not the leader of the team because when stuff goes south, he doesn't want to take responsibility for it. He wants to be the jokester. He wants to have a great personality. He wants to make everybody laugh, and that's why I love him. But the minute the team doesn't do well, it's never what I could do better or what I could be doing differently for the team. It's we or they. So he doesn't take responsibility. And that, to me, is not a leader. That's not a veteran presence.
Right.
He just comes off as like one of a lot of those other big guys that you've seen that have, and I hope it changes, but a guy that gets hurt a lot, and he's not like a Shaq. You don't feel like he's going to dominate. You feel like he's going to take a three from 90 feet out, which he can make, but he shouldn't be taking.
Right.
It just he just, I don't know. It feels like he's soft and injury prone, and there is time to change it, but I don't know if that can happen or not.
Well, they don't have the desire to win. They're okay losing. They're comfortable losing, and that's not.
They're used to it.
Well, they're used to it, yeah, and that's part of the curse of the process. That's part of Brett Brown's problems. He couldn't design plays at the end of the games to win games when they could have won games earlier in the process thing. How
much of that is really Brett Brown, and how much of that is the players not either being able to execute because they're just flat out not talented enough, or them not listening because for whatever reason they think that they know better than he does. I mean, if it comes down to respect and they're just not respecting him, they have no ground to stand on.
Well,
None of them won a championship to be able to say, we're not listening to this guy because we know better.
No, I think it's a combination of both.
Yeah, it's that. It's the whole thing is that the process was good because it got you talent, but the process taught you to lose and be comfortable with and be happy with losing, and that's never a good thing, no matter what, and that's why to go back to the Carter Hart thing, you play him whether they win or lose, you let him ride it out. He's going to learn from his mistakes or grow from them and
Right.
Get another captain's feather.
So, going back to the Sixers, who were they looking at as a replacement for Brown?
They talked about Tyronn Lue. Who else is on there, John, besides Jay Wright? I forget the other names.
Yeah, I mean, there's your Gundys, and there's a whole bunch of recycled guys that have all been. Who was the Mark Jackson? I believe was another one.
Some of those older guys that are announcers. I mean, you're really going to have to pay. I don't know if it's Jeff or Steve or which Van Gundy they're talking about, but either way, you're going to have to throw some serious. I mean, Jeff Van Gundy has been doing announcing for almost 20 years now. I mean, the Knicks were in the playoffs in 1999. It's a pretty cush job. Why would you want to deal with the stress of this team? And that's why I'm saying it's not worth it. Go find an assistant somewhere, or, I mean,
there was even some talks today. Dawn Staley would be a name that would be out there, and whether or not.
Could you imagine?
Oh, I'm just saying that was just I mean, that's what I'm saying. Just as a name that was out there that
Philadelphia would eat her up, spit her out, and oh God, I don't wish that on her at all.
Right. Oh no, I agree, but I'm just saying it like that was
But you know what? She's got just as great of a chance as anyone else does. It's just sad that you have to say that in the first place because
she
should be. Why can't she do that? What's the difference?
Right. Oh no, exactly. It's just a chance. Like I said, Jay Wright's not going to do it. He's not going to leave Villanova.
Well, okay. So I heard an interview with him where he said coaching in the NBA intrigues him and he would think about it, but I don't think he would do it in Philly. I think he would do it elsewhere because from what he said, moving to majors or professional in your own hometown is a lot harder to do because you're going to be ridiculed for no matter what you do.
Well, you've seen it fail so many. I mean, it works sometimes, but you've seen it fail so many times,
right?
Especially from college football to the NFL. If you're Jay Wright, why would you do that? They're gonna I know they don't build statues anymore, but you're the statue. How would you want to deal with the Sixers?
Mm-hmm. Oh no, true. He's got the job.
Let me throw this out there. In the 7 years of Brett Brown and all the trust the process and let's get rid of all these bad players and contracts, and here we are going into his 8th year. He has 2 legit players that you can honestly say that were drafted and brought into Philadelphia. 2.
No. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's just there's got to be a serious culture change. I don't care who the coach is, whether he has NBA experience, college experience, whatever. That you got to have a culture change. It has to change. You can. This does not produce winning.
You got to get a good, experienced, maybe general manager, but I don't know that you got to spend that much money on a coach. You need someone that knows how to draft properly and make those right picks. People don't mind if you know you're going to lose for a little bit. If you feel like you're going to win at the end, everyone's hopes got up, and it just
we went through that. We're coming down off of that. And what do you got to show for it?
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, it's horrible. It's horrible. And you talk about Jay Wright. You don't think he's watching from afar and just laughing at this and saying, "Oh my God, what are you guys doing?" Naturally he's going to say all the right thing. Look at all the NBA guys he's produced out of Villanova. He's a basketball factory right now.
And we passed on him.
Yeah, traded one on draft night. Now he's a freaking superstar. Miguel Bridges, right? He put up 33 on him the other night. Before the playoffs started, and the Phoenix was laughing at him.
So Jack brings up a good question. What coach would take this job, knowing that they could possibly be fired in 2 years?
Well, any of those,
they're out there.
Yeah, any of those, maybe a smaller college guy, when like a
trying to make it for themselves.
Yeah, like I don't know, whoever the coach of Gonzaga is, something like that.
I mean, with all due respect, if Penn State can find a head coach to come in after the Jerry Sandusky scandal, you can find somebody to come in and take over the Sixers. I mean, there's somebody out there that will take on this mess and fix it.
Right.
Hopefully. But
I mean, there's talent here to work with. Just get a matter of getting a system in there, getting them, to play well.
I think it comes down to this year too. There was just no one that could take a final shot for you. I know Jimmy Butler wasn't the best player. He wasn't Michael Jordan, but Jimmy Butler is going to take a lot of shot for you. He brought a toughness and a mentality no matter what you think of him. And you get rid of him and you give Tobias Harris all this money. I don't feel like I just don't feel like they had that. They didn't have that person this year that you felt could take them anywhere.
No,
Jimmy
you did.
didn't want to be here, right? That was the whole. He didn't want to stay here.
Right.
I am.
I don't think he wanted to be here because of Brett Brown.
Okay.
That's the rumor. That's the rumor, right? That's the rumor out there that him and Brown couldn't get along or something.
Because Brown just Brown was too soft on him. He wanted to be everybody's friends. He couldn't push them and hold them accountable for things. And
Kind of like your buddy.
yeah.
Where does that come from? Who said that stuff?
The players themselves.
Now that he's gone?
No, I mean Jimmy Butler was saying that back then, and a couple
After
players.
he was gone, not while he's here.
It's kind of fun to do while they're there.
Well, I'm just saying it's really easy when you're not in the situation anymore, or you're not in front of the person you're calling out to call them out.
Right.
Well, it is, but
if you have a problem with what the coach is doing, address it while you're there.
I think he did. That's why he's not there.
Okay.
Right.
Good.
I think I'm sure they did because that's why Brown didn't want him here. He pushed them and and fought back, but he's not going to come out publicly in the media and say Brown sucks. He's doing this. I mean, although he came close to it by saying this play's not going to work. Coming out of the huddle, he didn't really think he was mic'd up, or being able to be heard on the camera when he was saying that, but. Just I mean, there was things that were out there, for that. It's just I don't know that we as fans got to see or hear that because you're not going to do that, as a coach or a player. Just like Brett Brown himself, he took bullets for all the players as well, all the way through. So
as a guy that works for the sports team, I feel bad once we get past this COVID. How many of those Sixers, like I have friends that when all this was happening over the last couple of years, they were getting partial plans and driving from Reading an hour to go, to 20 games a year, which is a lot of times to go see the Sixers in a year. I mean, in comparison, we usually don't see the Phillies that much a lot. And it's I don't know if they're going to, unless they make some moves that they feel confident, I don't know that a lot of those people are going to keep those tickets.
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, they were packing the arena. There was a lot of excitement when Joel Embiid wants to play. He's the best player in the game when he wants to play.
That's
the problem being, where is that coach that can motivate him every night to play?
But I don't understand that. Where's the coach to motivate him to do that every night? If I went to work every day and I didn't give it 110%, do you know what would happen to me? I'd get fired. I don't need a boss to motivate me. And he makes a hell of a lot more than I do.
But I don't think with him, he hasn't played his whole life. He didn't play it relatively recently. I don't know that he has it in his blood like some, if you're a hockey player and you've been playing since you're 3 years old, you might play a little bit harder. Now, I'm not saying
when they're giving you millions of dollars, you find it. You find the blood and you play every night.
Or you don't, and you're out of the league in a couple more years.
Well, then he's out of the league.
Yeah, I mean, that's the problem because he's not going to lose his job. Unfortunately, he where you or everybody else here on the show will lose our jobs not by not doing that. He knows he's not going anywhere. And if the Sixers want to give up on him, and he's going to, some other team's going to pick him up and go from there. So, when you have that kind of talent, you're not going to, everything's been handed to you since you've been, since he got here to Kansas.
The motivation is such a big thing nowadays. You play down to your opponent. You don't get up for the games the way you should. There's so much that goes into professional sports nowadays.
Yep.
I mean, what's the incentive for him to play making that kind of money? You know what I mean? You got a coach, that I'll be honest with you. I think they were getting rid of him falling short of winning the championship, they were getting rid of him regardless. And I think the
Right.
players knew that. And, it presents a bad locker room. The mojo is not there. He's got to come to the rink, the arena every night, ready to play. And, it just wasn't there. You could see his facial at these press conferences. It just, Brett Brown never threw his guys under the bus. He always talked great about them and always talked about winning, but it's just not there.
I don't think he's a natural leader. I think you need, and I don't think Simmons is either. You need someone that motivates him every day on the court, not on the side, on the court. A player that pushes him every day. He can't be the one that does it himself. So
I agree. And I'll be honest with you. I think that's why they brought Al Horford in from Boston. He was, a rival player. He played against them. He beat them up every night, that they played. And I really thought that was going to inject something into JoJo. And it didn't happen. And I think we saw that this year. Al Horford even made, some derogatory comments about that during the season. I'm not sure the exact words, but it was, I was brought in here to play with Joel, kind of like the Twin Towers kind of thing. And how long did that last?
Right.
It just, the culture has to change.
Right.
Has to change. Just like it changed with the Flyers, it's changing with the Phillies, with Joe Girardi and Lane Vigneault. I mean, you got to have that culture change. You got to inject winning into the locker room. Enough with the losing. It has to stop. It has to stop.
No more accepting losing. I mean, it's you can't. It's.
I mean, how would you like being the owner with those $100 million contracts? They got 4 of them.
Yeah.
You got $500 million tied up in contracts.
It's crazy.
Yep.
I will tell you
I hope.
This
I
is
hope
the
a year
longest we
from
talk
now
about basketball.
Well,
Well, we're not going to talk about
it is what it is.
them. After this week, we're not going to be talking about them anymore for a long time until they get a new coach.
It's sad. It's sad. Last year, you had a hell of a series against Toronto. You lost on a crazy shot.
Right.
Quadruple dunk.
And here you are this year. You got blown out, and all we heard all year was, we're made for the playoffs. We're made for the playoffs.
I know. When Ryan says T.J. McConnell, I know that's not going to give you an automatic championship, but I'd prefer a team with more T.J. McConnells and Jimmy Butlers.
I agree 1,000%. You know what I mean? And he left here, probably to make the same amount of money, with who was it? Indianapolis, I believe.
I think I thought he was on the Pacers. I don't remember.
Yeah, we played him like late in the season there at the bubble.
But he always brought energy. It was like the fourth line in hockey. He was an energy guy. He came in. Some nights he would score 8 points, and other nights he'd score 18 points. But you didn't have that. You just didn't have it. And Mario's had enough basketball time for 1 week.
I'm quite all right.
Yeah.
Lauren, you got anything else you want to get off your chest? Come on. Surely you do. You got 6 minutes.
I don't have anything to get off my chest. The Sixers thing, you got me started up on that. I was fine. I was over the situation from when was it now? Sunday, whatever. No, I mean, John said the Phillies are turning the corner because what? They won 2 games, so that means they're turning the corner. Hot damn.
Rhys Hoskins just hit a home run. So
Good. He's out of his slump. Oh,
So it's tied 2-2 now?
No, it's 2-1.
2-1.
It's
All right.
2-1.
He tied the game up. It was early. I've been holding that back and biting my tongue here for the past 45 minutes after he hit the home run. I had to finally get it in because we were going on with everything else.
I can't remember. Is Rhys Hoskins your guy or not?
Oh, Rhys Hoskins. Yeah, I'm not like your dad. I didn't give up on him.
Nice.
I just want to make sure
Nice. I like it. I like it. Throw me
No,
under the bus.
Yeah.
I always get those.
That's going to come back to bite you.
Oh, it always does. It's all good. I get all that the ribbon about it. I mean, hey, he's struggling, but he puts in the work. He's a hard worker when it comes to that. It's just he's falling into a lot of bad habits, and it's going to take a while to get out of those bad habits. And I think we're starting to see some of that happening. So,
well, the Phillies are in an interesting position because they're still very much in it right now, but you don't necessarily feel greatly confident come playoff time with your pitching staff. So I don't know what you really can do, or I think wherever they go, as long as they made the playoffs, I guess that would feel like a success. I don't know.
I agree with you. Get that the best chance they have is making it to the playoffs. Once they get in there, I don't think they have a chance. Maybe that first round only because it's a best of three. When you have Nola and Wheeler, that you might be able to do something in that type of situation. But
maybe these new guys help a little bit. I don't know.
They've been helping. That Hembry's been the best of the new guys. Workman, he's scared me so far. I think we got sold a bad arm. I think he's a little hurt. He's not throwing as hard as he was, and he hasn't been able to find that curveball at all. He throws that curveball about 52 feet, and that's about it. And he's going to get JT hurt, jumping around back there.
Joel Embiid's got it. He's got that ball.
Did he? But is that the bubble gum in that little ball in the bottom of the ice cream cone on the Mr. Softy trucks? But
waiting all night to say that. Were you? You were waiting all night.
That was my other cheek being bit. Yeah, holding back on that one too.
You were waiting all night. It's 7:27. You almost didn't get the user in line.
I did. I had to make sure I got that one. But it's just, yeah. I mean, they're getting around, but I still, we're still a little bit short. There's talking about getting Marte from the Arizona possibly. I don't know what that's going to take. I don't know how much. He's making $10 or $12 million this year. So I don't know exactly how the salary cap or the luxury cap works. Anthony, you might know a little bit better. Since everybody's making less money this year because of the pandemic, do you still use the full year salary?
I don't know that for sure, but I would imagine not. I imagine you don't use that full year salary, but I don't know how it exactly works.
Well, as far as the luxury tax would go, because otherwise nobody would be over the luxury tax, and everybody could just, continue to bring. The Dodgers could bring in.
Maybe there was maybe it was like a some type of threshold for the amount of games that they're going to play, and they made a luxury cap based on that.
A new cap off of that,
yeah,
maybe.
Yeah, I would imagine. I'm sure they're the Yankees and the Dodgers are probably still over whatever they said it was going to be, but I don't know what that is.
Right. Yeah, because that would be the only thing, because that his $10 or $12 million would put him over the cap. So, are you going to have to then throw in a prospect and maybe a Jay Bruce to kind of offset the salaries, to get him.
Are we talking about Starling Marte?
No, it's not Starling.
It's the other.
It's the other Marte from the Arizona.
All right.
I forget his first name too. We had talked about Starling Marte earlier in the year to get him, but guys
that aren't past their prime, and he is far past his prime.
Well, yeah, I mean,
a little past his prime, and you like him.
Well, I don't really like him, and yes, he is past his prime, and we always get guys past their prime.
Just get a bunch of old Pirates from 2013 to be good.
That's what we're going for at this point. Soon we'll just be stacked. And I've seen all these guys many times, many games throughout the summer. I've seen Starling Marte let the ball just fly right over his head. And, was I supposed to get that? I'm not interested in that one. If it's a different Marte, that's fine. But I'm not interested in Starling.
Yeah. This one's a lefty hitter. But here's a good thing, Carl and everybody. What do you think of Alec Bohm playing left field?
Oh,
Be much
God.
better. Be much better if you played first
Play
base.
your other team.
Yeah.
No.
I don't know. There's a lot of talk about that.
He's your future first baseman.
He's definitely gonna be the first baseman. I imagine that if Hoskins goes on some type of tear, you can use him to get some type of bullpen help, and go from there. Bohm's good. Plus, if the National League does get a DH, you're just in even a better position with, maybe Real Muto doesn't need to catch all the time. He's a pretty big guy, and as you get a little older, you got to just be careful with that. So if they get a DH and you have him and Bohm, one guy could be a DH. Maybe someone plays first. But if Hoskins goes on a tear, it might be time to make a move.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You're gonna need Hoskins because you're gonna need a cheap salary to produce.
Can't forget, John is a big Hoskins fan.
Oh, I understand.
It's not that my whole thing is it's not a matter of whether I'm a fan. If we want to go anywhere as a team, we need guys like Alec Bohm, Hoskins, Kingery, those guys to produce, or else this team's not going to go anywhere. Because if we have to replace those three positions for whatever reasons and buy a veteran player or a better player out of that, we're not going to have the money to get pitching, and then we're not going to win. So the only way the Phillies can win is having those guys produce, and that would be the only way possible. No matter what you do, because like you said, Hoskins is making $600,000 or whatever it is this year. If you're going to trade him to get a bullpen guy, he might make $5 or $6 million, and you're over the cap with that move, type of move.
Right.
If you're lucky enough to get a player like that, he's on a downslide. If everybody wants to say, so what are you going to get for him? Where it's going to be worth keeping him, just because he have his cheaper contract and hoping that he has the ability to turn it around.
We've shot our hour. So
yes, we did.
Unless you guys got a sponsor to tack on for more time, we ran out.
We did run out. We did.
We did run out.
Yes, we did. Another great show, of course.
My takeaway from tonight is the Philadelphia 76ers, in hopes that they make the right decisions moving forward and can put this team back in the playoffs with a winning team next year. So that's what I'm praying for. So I know there was not a lot of bad talk tonight, but I'll be honest with you, I think the right coach can make this team tick. So that's my takeaway.
There you go. I'll go next. We got. I'm going to say the Flyers, and we see the Flyers and the Phillies. We got good coaching now. Teams are getting settled in. I think we have a little bit more brighter future coming around with them. The Eagles are right around the corner in a couple of weeks. We'll be having fantasy football again soon.
Boy, don't involve me in that one, please.
I got it all covered. Don't worry about
it. Thank God.
You didn't get the email?
No, I think you left me off that intentionally, which is fine. I don't need anything else.
And so I mean, we have 3 out of 4, and like Carl said with the Sixers, they got a team here. We get a new manager here and a coach. Future will be bright. So let's stay positive there.
Cheers.
My takeaway for the night is the fact that my dad's takeaway had nothing to do with the Flyers, which is still fascinating to me. The process is over. Strip it down. Start over. Trust the process was a marketing ploy to get us all hooked. Marketing things aren't supposed to last 7 years. So let's strip it down, get rid of that, and move on to bigger and better things, because I'm tired of trusting the process. I'm tired of losing, and I'm tired of them never making it really past the first round in the playoffs.
I agree.
So I usually promote different things that we have going on in the stadium. We have some movie nights coming up. We have a night golf that goes to our charity, which is all great. But sort of more importantly, I'm hoping that with baseball actually started now and well into it, that the negotiations with major league and minor league teams is going to continue. I think they said a couple weeks ago they were starting, but I haven't really heard a peep. And then the latest you heard was that they're talking about a bubble for the playoffs. So it still seems like that there are, in their minds, bigger fish to fry at the major league level. But as days go on and we're already at the end of August, at the end of one season when I'm usually getting ready for the next one, there needs to be conversation because there are a lot of people out of jobs right now and there's a lot of teams in the country that won't survive. So if anyone has any say in this room or in this chat room, that would be wonderful.
Whatever you need from us, we'll back you up.
You got it. I don't really have any takeaways other than go Phillies tonight, go Flyers tomorrow, and we'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
All right.
Sounds good.
Be safe.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Have a good night.